friends, my great pleasure to welcome you to my channel, Excel Graphics and Multimedia. My name is Rafi Yakub right here, and in today's video, you're going to learn how to create amazing visiting card in Photoshop, step-by-step tutorial. But before we dive into the tutorial, if you're very new to this channel, remember to click that subscribe and turn the notification bell so each time I post content about Photoshop, you'll be notified. So with that being said, let's dive into the tutorial and see how you can create amazing visiting card in Photoshop, step-by-step tutorial. The first thing you want to do right here is to go to your menu bar right here. Make sure you click on create new. Then you need to come to the top right here and type in the title of your design, which is amazing visiting card. Alright, so you have to come to the width right here. Under the width column, make sure you type in 3.5. Make sure you type in 3.25. Then you have to come to the height column. Under the height column, make sure you type in 1.75. Then make your resolution to be 300. Then you have to come to the color mode. Make sure you switch from RGB to CMYK right here. So next thing you want to do is to drag your ruler, both vertical and horizontal. Then make sure it's snapped to the page. Next thing you want to do is to go to the home tab right here, go to image. From image, make sure you look for canvas size. And this is pump up. Next thing you want to do right here, make sure you type in 0.25 for the width column, and you come to the height. Make sure you type in 0.25 for the height, and you come here, click on OK. So next thing you want to do is to make sure you drag your ruler, both vertical and horizontal. Next thing I'm going to do is to go back to image. Then we click on canvas size. Then right here, we need to type in 0.25 for the width and 0.25 for the height. Then you make sure you click on OK. So the next thing I'm going to do right here is go to my toolbar, click and hold down. I'll make sure I choose my pen tools. Having choose my pen tools, I will make sure I go to the shape right here. I'll make sure this is checked, and then I can pick my color from here. Then I will come to my artwork right now, and I will make a shape. Okay, so I can start from the point right here. I'll press Shift key on my keyboard to draw a straight line. Then I will make it curve this way. I will make it diagonal this way, and I'll press Shift key to make it straight again. Then I'll press Shift key to close the tab from the top right here. Next thing I'm going to do is to come back to the layer. I click on the layer right here, and I'll make sure I click on duplicate layer. So this duplicate one, I can make it black. And then I will click on OK. Then I will have to come to the color right here. I will eventually change it to black. So I have something like this. So this black one right here, I can adjust it a little bit. This way. So what I'm going to do next is to make another duplicate. So for me to do that, I will have to right click on this particular shape, and then I will make sure I go to duplicate layer. So this one right here, I can make it a little bit gray, and then I will click on OK. So I will have to come back to my pen tools. So this allows me to make the shape active. I will come to the top right here, and I will change this one to light gray since I choose gray. So this one right here, what I'm going to do next is that I will adjust it down a little bit. Then I will make sure it snaps to this page right here. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to go to my layer panel right here. I'll press Shift key on my keyboard and select the first shape. And then I will have to go to Home tab right here. I'll go to Edit, and I'll make sure I look for Free Transform. And what I'm going to do here is to adjust this shape back a little bit. So once I'm satisfied with the adjustment, I have to come to the top right here. I'll click on here to accept the transform. All right. So what I'm going to do next is to go back to my background layer right here. I'll select on my background layer. Then having select my background layer, I have to come to my toolbar, click and hold down. This time around, I have to choose my rectangle shape. And then having choose my rectangle shape, I'll come to the property right here. I have to change this color to something like this black for now. Then I will have to come to the workspace and I will draw another rectangle. Okay, so I have to close this window right here. So what I need to do again is to fall back to my shape 1 layer. Then I will press shift key and select my gray layer. And then I'll have to go to my home tab right here. I will go to edit and I'll make sure I click on my free transform. Then I will still have to adjust this a little bit backward this way. Just a little bit adjustment is needed right here. Once you're satisfied with the adjustment, you have to come to the top right here. Click on this check mark to confirm. Then I need to adjust this up a little bit. Then I'll make sure I adjust this shape right here, shift key and select the gray shape. And I'll press Ctrl T to open a transform tools. I need to adjust this. Okay, right here, I have to select this particular shape right here. I will make sure I move it closer a little bit this way. Okay. Then I'll press Ctrl T to open a transform tools and I'll adjust it a little bit more bugged. And I'll press enter and then I'll press shift. I will select on this particular shape, shift key and select the gray shape. Then I'll press Ctrl T to adjust. Then I need to move this in a little bit. And I'll press enter key on my keyboard. So we have something like this. Okay. Then I'll press Ctrl plus. So what I'm going to do here is to use my pen tools to form shape right here. So I have to go back to my background layer right here. Then from my background layer, I have to go to my toolbar here. I'll click and hold down. I'll make sure I select my pen tools. Then I will come to the property right here. I will make sure I change this color to something like this. I will make sure I choose shape. Then I will come to this particular shape right here. I will make sure I connect this at this point here. Then I will come this way. And I will make sure I connect this. Then I will make sure I close this part here. Then I'll go back to my move tool. And I'll press Ctrl minus to zoom in. Ctrl minus to zoom in. Alright, so at this point here, the next thing is to add appropriate color to my business card. So we can start from any of the shapes. So we can go to start from here and I'll come to the layer panel. I'll double click on the layer thumbnail and I'll pick my color from here. Then I will click on OK. Then I have to select on this particular shape right here and I will double click on my layer thumbnail here. Then I will pick on this color. So I will choose this dark red, dark black. So you can see my color code right here. Then I'll click on OK. Then I'll select on this I will double click on the layer thumbnail. So you can see my color code right here, and I'll click on OK. So I have to select on this, and I'll double click on the layer thumbnail. I'll pick on this color. So you can see the color code I use right here, and I'll click on OK. I will select on this. I will double click on the layer thumbnail. Then I'll pick this color right here. I'll click on OK. I have to select on this shape. I'll double click on the layer thumbnail. I need to change to dark black. I'll click on OK. Then I'll select on this, and I'll double click on the layer thumbnail. I'll make sure I work on the lighter one. I'll click on OK. Now I have to select this particular shape right here. I will right click on the shape. I'll make sure I rasterize the layer. And having rasterized the layer, I'll go back to my toolbar right here. I'll click and hold down. I'll make sure I choose rectangular mark hue. So from the bottom here, I'll make sure I drag to the top. And I'll press the delete key on my keyboard. Then I'll press Ctrl D to deselect. And then I'll have to select on this particular dark shape. I will right click and I'll make sure I rasterize the layer. Then I'll go back to my toolbar right here, click and hold down. I'll make sure I choose my rectangular mark hue. And from the top right here, I'll drag all over down. And I'll press the delete key on my keyboard. Then I'll press Ctrl D to deselect. Alright, so I have to fall back to the background layer and insert my graphic vector. Then I'll go to my vector layer, and I'll drag the vector from this layer, and I'll take it to the workspace. Then I'll make sure I go to the home tab right here. I'll click on select. I'll make sure I click on all. Then I will align to vertical center and horizontal center. Then I'll go back to select. I'll make sure I deselect. So we have all the layer and all the shape properly sketched and setting. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add text and icons to the business card or to the visiting card. Okay.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big swings, put your hand to the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah, but I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread, with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to